forecasters are saying, but the truth of the matter is it's not rates that drive people to buy homes. It's the homes that are really the key, right? It's being in that school district. It's being in that particular area. It's downsizing. It's, life changes. Home ownership and changes aren't necessarily tied to rates, right? Matter of fact, I did a home buying seminar the other day. Sat in on one with young buyers, right? And we sat and talked to them for a long time, and not one time did they ask what the interest rate is. I also wanted to know what was the payment was. They wanted to know, how can I get out of renting or out of my mom and dad's basement, right, or parents' basement, and how can I own a home? They weren't talking about, geez, the rates are higher than they've been in the past. They were just enthusiastic. And I would say one thing for our youthful people, they're very, very excited, but they're thirsty for knowledge. And they had all sorts of great questions, from mortgage to real estate, home ownership, homeowners insurance. Actually, we spent a lot of time on that too as well, which kind of surprised me, but they had these great questions, and their enthusiasm for the market is different than a lot of other generations, I would say, so to speak. But I'm really excited about that generation coming up and buying. It's bigger than the baby boomer
I
segment.
agree.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity for, our real estate community. And I'm fortunate enough to work with Edina Realty and, be the leader in Minnesota and Western Wisconsin. I work with the best real estate professionals in the state.
Yeah,
And I get this unique opportunity to sit down and be by my customers every day, which I'm super excited to do. So
that's
I'd
Joe
rather be
Brown,
by my
everybody.
customers. Hmm?
That's your intro. We are recording you, Joe Brown, the president of Edina Realty's mortgage division. We're so excited. You just did an amazing intro for us, Joe. That's remarkable. We can't wait to pick your brain today, because I think the audience is really wondering what's going on in the market right now and what can we expect in 2024. Joe Brown is going to share that with us today. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today. Super excited to be on the call here, and looking forward to a great 30 minutes.
Well, you already just gave us some great intelligence. We took every bit of that down. We've got that recorded, and it was amazing.
Oh,
What is your
fabulous.
favorite thing right now about what you're sharing when you're out in the real estate community talking to your realtors and our clients? What's on your mind these days?
My message is, first of all, I'm very passionate about home ownership. I've had the opportunity to own a couple of homes, bought and sold a couple of homes, and actually was also an investor at one time and had the ability to provide shelter for folks, which is really, really exciting. And I got to see that side of it. Just the importance of home ownership. I think one of the things we talk about a lot is the wealth difference between homeowners and renters. And I think Sherry Schmid, our president of our real estate company, who's awesome, shared that, home ownership typically has 40 times more net worth than renters, right? So how can we get these renters from renting into home ownership? And it's not necessarily about the wealth. Sometimes it's going to be about the school districts. It's about the memories that you can create. The wealth is just a secondary part.
Right.
And one of the things I like to talk to, especially my first time home buyers, is when you think about it, is when you have a mortgage, it's almost like a savings, because each month just a little bit of that goes towards the principal, and your loan's going down, versus rent, where the only one that's really getting super wealthy there might be the landlord. And it's kind of a little savings pattern. And typically in the market, Carrie Ann, as you know, is there's appreciation, right? I mean, whether it's 3% or 5%, we don't necessarily have the swings that the West Coast or the East Coast has. So I really talk about the value of home ownership and the importance of it, and really creating that wealth, but also those memories, that place that you want to have your kids, if you have kids, that, if you want to be by that lake, whatever it is, that's where you're going to be. And that's what's really important, one way or the other, versus renting, where you might have to hear what's going on upstairs or downstairs or whatever it may be. And I'm not opposed to folks renting, but I'm just so passionate about home ownership, obviously, as it's just what we do every day.
Yeah, that's spot on. That's a great way. That's a great segue to talk about what's going on in the Twin Cities specifically and all over the country. Joe, as it relates to rental, it's gotten so expensive. So expensive. If you do a cost analysis on what the outbound money, what that looks like for these people, it absolutely, even with an adjusting rate, out there that's moved up from what's been the normal for people for the last 5 years. It is a cost savings long game for sure, to explore homeownership. So
Absolutely.
when have you been doing, what are your thoughts on teaching that or communicating that kind of message out through Edina Realty and through the platforms you have to get that word out to more of the renters in the Twin Cities?
Yeah, so funny you should ask that because just recently, and we don't hear a lot about this in the media. We hear some of it, but interest rates, again, it's not necessarily always about the interest rate, but interest rates have dropped, right? We always hear when they spike, and they spiked really, really quickly over the last year or so. But rates were right around 8% about 60 days ago. Okay.
Right.
And today you're probably closer to 6 and 7/8 or 6.5 with one discount point. That's huge for us, right? That's a huge opportunity for renters to take a look at, what their payment would be and their buying power. It just changes so much with a 1% drop that we
Yeah.
want to talk about those opportunities. And most folks take a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, right? So the only thing that can really change in your payment there is maybe the homeowner's insurance and possibly your property taxes may go up or
Right.
down a little bit each year versus renting, you're not really in control of what's going to happen the next year.
Nope.
Matter of fact, my one of a daughter's friend of mine was renting, and they were renting for like $1,500 a month, and then the next year that was going to go to $1,800 for the same place, right? The amenities didn't change, right? Nothing got better. It was a great place, but therefore he decided that wasn't the right move for him. He ended up renting a house with a few other folks, but
Mhm.
needless to say, for a lot less, but needless to say that they don't control that, right? That's the home ownership is a lot more safer bet when you want a consistent payment. And one of the
Absolutely.
great things like right now is we talk about if you purchase today, history would say typically there's going to be a chance to refinance that interest rate down the road, even at 7%. History would say that at some point, depending on how long you're in your house, and I think Carrie Ann, correct me, Nara says you're in your house typically about 8 to 9 years right now. If you look
Yep.
at the history over the last 15 years, I would say there'll probably be an opportunity to refinance that. And one of the great things that we have with our mortgage professionals at Edina right now, we're running a promotion where if you close in your house by June 30th, we'll go ahead and do what we call a refine your rate, where we won't charge an origination fee
Okay.
for the next couple of years, just to encourage people to take a look at home ownership and realizing that there may be an opportunity. Can I guarantee it? No, I can never
Right.
guarantee it.
That's a
Yep.
great segue, Joe. I think a lot of people don't realize that Edina Realty, as a mortgage group, there's a lot of opportunity. Like we have a lot of special programs out there that many cannot offer. Is there anything new coming down the pipeline that you'd want to share with everybody in terms of an incentive moving into
Yeah.
2024?
So, I mean, as far as programs, there's a couple different things we can talk about. We're we have some programs that help our clients win in multiple offers, and one of ours, and Carrie Ann, you might be familiar with this, is this Buyer Advantage program. It's not necessarily new, but what it is simply is this: is that we take the application, we put the file through underwriting, and basically we're saying, hey, this has already been through underwriting. It's not pre-qualified. It's not a pre-approval. It's been underwritten by an underwriter. So the only thing we're waiting on is the appraisal
Right.
and the title work. And then we also throw a closing guarantee of $12,500 to the seller if we don't close on time.
Mhm.
And that was within our control. So it's really, really a powerful program, and is really powerful during the multiple offers situation we had during the pandemic. But
Gotcha.
it works today really, really well because you may not see 30 offers on a home at one time today, but you may see 3. And
Right.
how can we, as Edina Realty Mortgage and Edina Realty, make your offer stand out so you win? That's the most important thing. How can we help you win and you
Yeah.
obtain home ownership or get that dream home, those types of things? So that's not a new program. One of the things we do have at Edina is we also work with a number of different investors, and we do have some programs that maybe someone doesn't fit in that that perfect little box, right? Maybe
Right.
there's some different types of income, maybe they've got some other things going on. We have some different programs that will help those folks too as well, so we're proud of those programs too as well. But in general, what we're seeing is most people are doing the conventional 30-year fixed if they can. We
Yeah.
do a lot of down payment
Yeah.
assistance programs for our first-time home buyers. We're proud of that. We're one of the leaders in Minnesota housing. We do some loans with WIDA in Wisconsin too as well. And
Mhm.
really, that what's kind of separates us from a lot of other lenders is those types of loans take a lot of tender loving care.
Yeah,
But
they
I'll
do.
tell you what, the excitement of those folks to be able to be homeowners, like for Minnesota housing, you can only need $1,000 of your own money to get into a home. There's some income requirements there, which our
Right.
mortgage professionals know better than I do, to be honest. But it's so exciting. And these people are so excited. And the greatest thing is we want to always do the right thing. Not every lender offers those programs. We do. We're excited about it. We promote it. And we also have a lot of different down payment assistance programs, whether it's in Minnetonka or Edina or Brooklyn Center. So
Right.
we really strive to get those programs and educate our agents and our buying community too as well. And that's either Tuesday meetings, lunch and learns, social media. We're really leveraging social media more so than ever now, for sure,
Yep.
because we feel that's such a big
Have to.
platform.
Well, that's why we're doing
And
it. Yeah, for
yep,
sure.
we absolutely have to do that. And our mortgage professionals are excited to be doing that and sharing. I just saw a reel today from one of our loan officers talking about, the rates going down, call us, let's get this thing going, right? I think his comment was, let's go.
Yeah.
So,
You know what I love about, and when I'm out with the community and sharing, so Chad Johnson is our preferred lender in-house at the 50th and France office. We do a lot of work together, all different types of clientele, the whole gamut. And so I'll step into a meeting, right? We'll be working with a buyer and it's the why. Well, I was pre-approved with such and such or such and such, and I won't throw out names. Well, there's some advantages. Let's throw out the advantages because there's a lot of competition, right, Joe? There's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of availability to go out online and get a deal. And I think that one of the interesting things that isn't communicated, no one's really talking about, is there's a lot of promises made out there that aren't actually a reality with a lot of lenders that are throwing out teasers, we'll call it. So if you were to give the world of, clientele out there who's trying to navigate, who do I work with as a lender? What would be your pitch, the why behind the collaboration with Edina Realty Mortgage? Because it is a powerful network of amazing talent and the resources are extraordinary in my mind. And you've got a real person that you can talk to 24/7 or thereabout and really be able to articulate. I think as a team, we're able to articulate a best outcome that's a true reality at the closing table.
yeah.
So when you're, that's a big thing, right? Because there's a lot
Right.
of competition, just like there's a lot of different real estate groups out there. What's the why behind it? So what would your response to that be?
Yeah, that's a great question, Carrie Ann, and thank you for asking it.
Huh.
It's it's amazing what's out there right now, right? I mean, obviously, online lending's been a thing for a long time, right?
Yeah.
It certainly has had an impact, and it's an option for folks.
Mhm.
But here's the thing: as a buyer, if I was looking for a home, whether I'm a first-time home buyer or I'm a repeat buyer, or I'm looking for my second home or lake home, whatever it is the key is working with a mortgage professional who understands the market. I don't know if the person sitting in, Detroit understands the Minnesota market or
Right.
California, the lender there. And here's the thing. One of the things with Edina is like a Chad, who's an awesome professional. He cares as much about your business as you do, right? He wants to make sure that closes on time. His job is always to make you look like the hero of the transaction, right? You hand it to Chad, you set it and forget it. I think that's an old Ron
Yeah,
Popeil
it
way
is.
back.
Set it and forget it. Yep.
But needless to say, I'm aging myself here a little bit. But needless to say, is that loan officer or mortgage consultant, can they give the proper guidance? Because regardless, it's really the biggest purchase you're typically going to ever make in your life.
Right.
Again, whether it's a first home or second home or lake home. And you really want that professional expertise to make sure someone's guiding you the right direction, whether you're
Mhm.
doing a jumbo loan or you're doing a first time home buyer down payment assistance loan. There's a lot of moving parts to mortgage. And really, it's that personal touch that Chad is going to be available to you and to your clients on nights and weekends. One of the things that,
Love that.
I've always did when I was originating back in the day in Maplewood, was I'd be like, hey, I'm available nights and weekends, just like Chad and all of our other mortgage professionals. And our agents oftentimes would, back in the day, I used to have a pager,
Yeah.
would often page
Palm
me
Pilot.
when they're with a client and say, hey, what are the rates, whatever. And then I'd call them right back. And then oftentimes if they're with a different lender, they would say, I'm gonna do the same thing with your lender. Let's see if they call you back. Because you know what? Oftentimes they wouldn't. And
Mhm.
regardless of the technologies that out there, and I think you'll agree with me, Carrie Ann, on this, is real estate still a nights and weekends business? I really believe that. That's when our loan officers get the most call. They need that pre-approval. They want to know the amount of the closing costs. Can you tell
Yeah.
me what my payment would be if it was, if we offered, $10,000 more, $10,000 less?
Right in
Do
the
I
number.
still qualify if I have to go $20,000 over?
Mhm.
All those things that you may not get available from an online lender or a bank or a credit union, one
Right.
way or the other. I can't say for certain that's the case. I'm just telling you how we live our life and how we
Yeah.
treat our agents who are our customers. And
Yeah.
that's the one thing with the Edina Realty Mortgage. We understand our agents are our customers. We love to partner with you. We're here to serve you and your clients. That
Mhm.
is our goal, and to help you close one more transaction. And then the last thing I would say is, whether we're in a multiple market that we were a year ago or so, or we're in a market today where there might be 3 to 5 to 7 offers, we want our loan officers to call that listing agent and say, hey, look, we've got this loan. I've been in the business for 20 years. We're set to go here. We'll make that extra call and that personal touch that will help our buyers win and help our agents close one more
Mhm.
transaction. And you're not going to
Name of
get
the
that
game, really.
necessarily with a different lender. And to be
Oh,
fair, there's a lot of good lenders out there too as
yeah.
well. But that's one of the things. If I was an agent, I would interview the lender,
Mhm.
find out their availability, make sure they care about my clients as much as I do. I
Mhm.
don't think that's always the case. And needless to say, that's why we ask for second opinions so many times. And we have a second opinion program.
Mhm.
And oftentimes we win with that second opinion, not because we're the lowest, right? Because, there's someone always going to be lower one way or the other. It's the service. It's
Right.
maybe we're going to talk to someone about a down payment assistance program that somebody else didn't bring up, or maybe we're going to talk about a jumbo loan that you can put less money down than maybe you have to with another investor. And maybe sometimes we're just going to say, hey, you know what? You're getting a great value. And if you like the loan officer you're working with, stick with them. We're gonna be honest and
Yeah.
transparent with folks. That's
As it
that's the
should
way you
be.
win, and that's the way why we have such a sterling reputation in the community.
So how many years have you been with the company now? Like how long has it been?
A long time.
Yeah.
So if can I give my background for a second?
Yes, I would love that.
Okay. So I won't go back too far, I promise you.
Yeah.
I graduated from St. Thomas and St. Paul.
St.
Huge,
Thomas, a shout out to St. Thomas. We love
yep,
St. Thomas.
co-Tommies, right?
Oh,
Um,
Thomas.
Needless to say, then I got into a sales career. I was working with business to business communications. Didn't love it, right? Didn't love getting up every day. Was kind of hoping the week would be over. I had some success there, but I didn't have any passion for it.
Right.
And lo and
Yeah.
behold, it's kind of funny, Carrie Ann, is my best friend at the time, and still a good friend today. Um, I got in the mortgage business because his brother was in it. And I was like, well, I was salaried at that time. He's like, well, here's the thing. It's commissioned only. And I said, you know what? I just bought a home a few years ago. And I remember getting this loan through a really good mortgage professional, but I felt like I could do that job, or maybe I could do it a little bit differently. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So I was kind of passionate when I went through the experience. I'm like, okay, I'm going to move industries, get in this commission only job. I think my dad thought I was crazy at the time, but he supported me because he's a great dad. Uh, and try this.
Mm.
And I worked for a company right down here in Edina, not Edina Realty. It was a brokerage called Homestead Mortgage back in the day, and
Yep.
some gentlemen took the chance on me, although not a big chance because it was commission only. But needless to say, loved it.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, I was out one night with some agents in Maplewood, Minnesota, and the regional manager, you may remember Fred Schmidt, you may
Oh
not.
yeah.
He came
Absolutely.
over and he said, I see you're out with my agents. I said, well, I don't know if they're your agents. But he said, yeah, they're my agents. I said, okay, fair enough. And he's like, hey, my loan officer just decided to move down to Iowa. Good loan officer, by the way. Would you
Mhm.
be interested? And I
Very
said,
cool.
let me think about it. I thought about it for about 24 hours, and I thought I could either be by my loan officers every day, sitting in Edina or Arden Hills, or I could be next to my customers every day, right?
Mhm.
And being part of something and being part of a culture and community. and I
Yeah.
jumped all over it. And I was fortunate
Very
enough that
cool.
Patty Ronigan hired me, and great leader.
Great
I owe a
names
lot
out
to
there,
her,
everybody.
right?
Yeah.
She's fabulous. And then I was a loan officer for a number of years, and probably about 5 years, 10 years into it, I became a regional manager, a regional vice president. And then about 15 years ago this May, I was named the president of the mortgage company. I had a
Title.
great mentor in Todd Johnson and Patty Ronigan, two
Yeah.
big fans of those guys. So I have been in the business, to get back to the original question, 31 years and 29
Right.
years here with
Congratulations.
Edina, and I just love it. I'm fortunate to work with Greg Mason and Sherry Schmidt and Brad
All
Fisher,
incredible people, every single one of
Jim
them.
Young, Nicole
Mhm.
Suki, and Travis, and the whole group. But my passion is not being on the sixth floor. My passion is being in the field, because
Mm.
that's what I do, right?
Yeah.
That's my thing. And I've always tell my agents I'm available nights and weekends, just like you, because I've done it for years. So I get a lot of calls on weekends with random questions that have nothing to do with Edina, but I'm always here to help, because I'll go back to what I said earlier. My goal is only to help agents close one more transaction, whether it's with us or not. Of
Mm.
course, I like it with us, but they're
Yeah.
my customers.
Well, and more important, like just the life stories, right? And the the meat behind what it is we do every day and the why behind it is for the people and being able to help them through the process.
Yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
that's the
Yes.
value. And I was at our Egan meeting the other day, and I was talking about our mortgage professional there. And I said to the agents, I said, hey, our mortgage professionals don't say, hey, this is how many I'm going to close and this is how much I'm going to make. They look at how many people can I help, and then the rest will
Right.
take care of it. Right.
Correct.
We're not counting our commissions, or lack of, depending on the market, but how can I help people? And that's the thing that I like to talk about. And my motto is, do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do
I
the right thing.
1,000% agree with that. So I always ask the question, um, life balance in all things in life. Everybody's, it seems it's gotten more and more busy for everybody, thanks to our social media, component of life, and just the speed of life, generally speaking, is sped up, right? So when you advise your partners around you and your agents and your clients, what do you say when you start talking about the balance beyond funding and helping people buy and sell homes? How do you find personal balance as it relates to your own family and your own life? How does that work for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn that question around a little bit, okay? That's okay.
Yeah. I-
So uh since I don't actively originate, I'm gonna put myself in the originator's shoes and our agent shoes,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
One of the things, first thing I'm gonna say is, our agents do so much work, right? They wear so many different hats. And when I talk to young folks that say, hey, I want to get into real estate, or I want to get into mortgage, I'm not sure which one, I tell them all of it, right? And I said, you have to have a passion towards this, and you have to be available, but you have to have that work-life balance. Okay.
Mhm.
Really, really critical that you time block for your family the best you possibly can. And as
Right.
you know, at least, and I can tell you from my experiences when I was originating, is if was at my kid's soccer game or dinner with my wife, and I got that call, I'd be like, hey, can you just hold on? Right. Maybe I missed that goal or whatever, but I really, really tried to focus
Mhm.
on time blocking. And when I was originating at a high level, I would work Monday through Fridays, mainly nights, because back in the day we used to meet face to face more often,
Mhm.
right, with our clients. And our loan officers are still willing to do that, obviously. But I'd always take Saturday would be my day that I would spend with, when I had a young family, with my young family, and that was my day. And oftentimes on Sunday, I'd have to go in and do paperwork when it wasn't as the technology wasn't there. But I
Yeah.
always had that Saturday, so I never felt like I was, didn't have that time, because it
Mhm.
was just really, really critical for me and my young family at that time that I spend that with them. And
Yeah.
I always tried to make time to make sure that I never missed soccer game, a hockey game, a tennis match. And I felt like you can do that. And think I did that really well. So my advice to our agents as well as our loan officers is time block it, right?
Yeah.
Time block. And I think with the technology, it makes it a lot easier today than when
Us.
I was doing it back then. But you're also more available than you've ever been
Yeah, we are.
before. So
Everybody is.
it's
But
really
having
got to
it,
be a
Being
plan.
committed to it. Yeah.
Yep,
Being
committed
committed.
to it because it is a passion, but you also want to make sure you have that work-life balance. And I love that question, by the way. So thank you for asking.
You're so welcome. It's a really, I think it's an interesting business, the mortgage business, as it relates to money and what's happening in the world right now. And I think I love interviewing you because fundamentally the history that comes with the life of this business of lending for homes has fundamentally not changed a lot, Joe. It really hasn't. There's a lot of technology and advancements and glitter, I call it, that surround the industry and business now. But fundamentally, what you really are striving to do is communicate a great service with great intelligence that's accurate and provides the very best option for the client in front of you, based on their circumstances, whatever those might be in their life. And that requires a human being that's present and available and is knowledgeable. And that, my friend, is what we have in you as the president of Edina Realty's mortgage division and all of the lenders that work underneath of you. So it's just really lovely and an honor to have a few moments to share your story. And we're going to have Joe, your link and your contact information below for 3 reasons. In case you're curious about financing and getting a loan, you know who to get a hold of with Edina Realty Mortgage. In case you want to learn more about how to get into the business of lending and mortgage, Joe would be your person. And you can look up Joe's personal bio with Edina Realty so you can hear his story after 31 years of being in this beautiful business of real estate. Thank you so much, Joe Brown. We really appreciate it.
It was an honor to be on the podcast, and thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your team. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time on Fly the Coop.